So today we had Dominique Grossman come over. She is a occupational therapist who works on feeding and just body work with infants, their oral skills. So she's got the craniosacral facial therapy background as well. And her ultimate goal is just to make sure baby is developing and feeding okay, provide some body work to release some tension that we often see with infants, and then give me the skills that make breastfeeding or bottle feeding a lot easier. So in this video, what I wanted to do was just demonstrate kind of a follow-up session. So we've already had one session with her where she did an assessment on the baby. And then this is our follow-up session where she's looking at how have we been doing with our homework, and then how's Olivia developing, and then she's providing actually a lot of body work here. So you'll see her do an assessment of, or I guess a follow-up of the facial and motor skills there, especially with the tongue and the chewing, and then she's going to go into more body work, opening up the chest, because infants tend to live kind of in this shallow neck area, so we're opening that up, expanding the neck, expanding the airway to help with breathing as well, because she's a pretty noisy baby. So I'm really excited for you to see this video and for us to share this field because it's not really well known. Again, this isn't really necessarily for something postpartum for me that's with my health, but also it is kind of, I'm included in it because of the health of my baby. So many women struggle with breastfeeding and they think it should be normal to have some pain with breastfeeding when that's not necessarily true. Now, I've seen a lactation consultant, so we did that part of it, but honestly, what Dominique has been doing with Olivia and helping kind of just develop the oral skills has helped a lot with breastfeeding and how it feels and her latch and whatnot. As well as reducing her spit up, as well as reducing hiccups, as well as reducing gas and discomfort. So it's really an amazing field, and I highly recommend if you have an infant, if there's someone available in your area, to contact them. Or Dominique does work virtually, so her information will be in the description as well. So I hope you enjoy the video. It's just going to be me overlaying the information while I walk you through some of the video that we recorded. If you have any questions, please let us know. So here Dominique is checking out Olivia, just assessing how she's doing. We've had some exercises that we were supposed to do over the last couple of weeks since our initial appointment. And what she's doing is assessing her sucking ability because it plays an important role in her feeding and her comfort and her latch for breastfeeding as well as bottle feeding. So at this point, what we're doing is having Olivia on the ball, and this is going to open up her neck for us. And then if you can see the top of her head there, she also has a pacifier that you can actually see how her mouth is working with the pacifier to assess the sucking ability. So you'll see Dominique is she's slowly pulling down her arms and just letting her kind of release some tension in the neck because babies live in this forward head position. So we're trying to open that up. She's explaining here to me and Michael of what she's doing exactly, just releasing tension, talking about how she's feeding and how the mouth is working. He's going to come around here, and she's just showing us, and it's actually really cool because you can see the baby, you just start to relax. She still has that one arm down. She's going to work on the other arm eventually. So now what we're going to do is see if she tracks with this mirror. It's very interesting to babies. So we're seeing if she can look up towards the back with the mirror. At first we're trying to see if she can go side to side and look up. So you'll see more of that later on in the video. While she's still in this relaxed head position. So she's starting to get upset. We're taking a break. So now in this position, what Dominique is doing is assessing how we've been doing on the homework. So these are called chomps by her. And so she's got her finger in the mouth of the baby, and we're just looking at how she chews on each side. So before each feeding, what I have to do is put my finger in her mouth. I do one side and we look for 5 chomps, or 5 bites essentially, and then I go to the other side, look for 5 bites, and I do this 3 times. So she's just assessing, and I'm letting her know what my feedback is over the time. Now we're back to some floor play, and what she does is she's got a towel underneath Olivia's back, or essentially her shoulders, again to open up that neck and that chest for her. Similar to how she was on the ball, but what we're doing is again looking at her sucking abilities there, and we're going to work in some head motions and planes of motions in the neck. So as you see, she's got something crinkly here, and it makes noise. Then we're going to get the mirror that makes noise, and we're going to see how she tracks. So tracking again, do her eyes follow the device, and does her head turn with that device. So we want baby's head to turn. as we go through. And you can kind of see she's just hanging out. And then the eyes are going, but the head is not. So we're working through this together of just seeing, can she get that head to turn? Does her head turn easily to one side versus another side? And how does it all look for her? So in this position, Dominique is actually trying to get Olivia's tongue out past her mouth. It's really interesting because her tongue essentially gets stuck at where her gums are, and we want to be able to have the baby stick their tongue out longer past their lips. Again, a lot of this I'm not familiar with, so Dominique would be a great resource for all the moms out there to just get more information and to talk about what this actually means and why this is important. But we do want that tongue to come out and up and back, so that way it helps with her swallowing and feeding abilities. And again, so it helps with my latch, her feeding, and then eventually when we move on to solids. In this position, Dominique is really working on getting that tongue out by, again, putting her hands in her mouth, and then you'll see her tongue sticks out. And that's to have the baby replicate the movement. So babies mimic what we do, and so she's trying to get her to 1, push that tongue forward, and then 3, replicate that. And she's explaining it to me there using her hands of how she wants the tongue to work. As you see here, we are starting to practice with me doing it at home with her. So Dominique is walking me through of essentially I'm going to put my finger in Olivia's mouth and I'm going to scrape the top of the roof of the mouth. So that way, again, it's helping with that swallowing and that tongue motion, because what we're finding, and for most newborns it's normal, is that the tongue is just kind of out of control and they're not really sure what to do with it. So we're just trying to help her figure that out for more purposeful feeding and just overall better health. In this portion of the video, we're practicing side lying movement. So with our babies, we definitely want to do some tummy time, but side lying is important too. So we're using me as a motivator for Olivia because she's motivated by the sound of my voice and me. So I'm just helping her kind of be comfortable in that position. You'll also see Dominique working on her hips and her legs there. And so she's showing me what she's doing. And we're just assisting her with kind of getting that hip mobility, range of motion there. So now she's going into more body work rather than just the mouth that she works on with children and infants. And so I'm just guiding her. It's not necessarily something that I'll do at home, but it is something, an option. And we're just following Olivia's lead, so we're not forcing her hip or foot into any of the positions. We're just letting her curl, provide some resistance to her hand, and then letting her relax and go through. Here's another angle of what that looks like too. So as you see, Dominique is supporting her foot, and then we're just putting that hip and that through range of motion in the socket in that side lying position. So we change sides for her. And it's just getting her comfortable. I'm on the ground with her so she can see me and providing my voice for comfort. And then just asking Dominique questions as we walk through this. Now what we're doing, again, some more body work, is babies have a clenched fist usually. And so she's showing me how to open up the hands by doing some pressure points. And then eventually that helps the hands relax over time. So this is a great option for me to do while she's feeding and we're just hanging out. So here I am practicing it in front of Dominique so she can help assess and make sure that I'm doing it correctly while she still provides some body work for the baby. So now we're going to go into tummy time here. And so tummy time is just baby on stomach, and it's going to help with their head and neck control. Again, I'm going to get on the floor to provide some motivation for her, just familiarize her with my voice. And then we can't really see her, but you'll see Dominique holding down her butt or her hips. That's just to help provide more stability. She's also getting on the floor, putting finger in the mouth to get Olivia more comfortable with us putting fingers in her mouth to help with her eating. So we're gonna hang out there and she's gonna show me some work. I'm gonna come around because we're also looking on some head control here. So now what we're doing is just working on some infant massage and just helping Olivia's body feel better. Again, nothing that's super necessary, but just helping out the baby and getting their muscles and ability to coordinate and bring awareness to them, helping their nervous system develop as well. And so we'll start with one leg. As you see here, Dominique's got a sample baby on her side, so that way she can help demonstrate and I can just follow the lead. The beautiful thing here is Olivia got upset and also it was time for feeding. So as I'm feeding her, Dominique is assessing the feeding and the latch and then providing support on that. As we're going through the feeding, she's making recommendations on changes to our at-home homework and just suggesting things that we can do to increase the latch. Again, work on the oral skills, and make sure that she is a happy fed baby. Then at this point, I have to burp the baby, and she's asking me if I normally burp the baby like this. So what she's doing is teaching me alternate ways to burp baby. So by moving hips, and then she's noticing some asymmetries, that one side is tighter than the other. So she's just helping me and walking me through that. Again, numerous ways to burp a baby, but what we want to do and what she encouraged me to do is constantly change the position, so that way we're creating air. So what she's doing is showing me that we need to constantly change the position, so that way we're creating space in the torso to let some air pass through. So I hope you enjoyed that video, very informative. Dominique, again, like I said, her information will be in the description for you. If you wish to contact her, she does do virtual appointments. And again, I hope you learned something today. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share if you found this information useful. I'll see you on the next time.